time has come!
Oh, we are here. It's Dan and Phil Drunk History. Disclaimer 1. On normal drunk history, they are already drunk.
Yes, I'm a bit.
We are not, but
Oh,
we will be. By
I am.
2015, one of us will be dead and one of us will be climbing ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
Disclaimer 2 is why we're qualified to do it. I have been watching Dan and Phil since 2010. That's 14 years.
Yep.
That's, how old am I now? 6. Yeah, I was 7.
Yeah.
7 years old.
It feels like my whole life, but it has only been,
Max has been
2013.
watching since 2013. He was 9.
11 years ago, bros.
Oh god. I am genuinely, and I have the proof of the wristband, I'm official fandom member number 7013.
Yeah. The jealousy I felt in those years, unmatched.
We're also both gay. That's enough
Yeah.
on its own. We're also both autistic. Special interest, Dan and Phil.
God, where's that meme that says I got the Dan and Phil type of autism? You think you know Dan and Phil, you clicked on this video, you think you know. You don't know. You don't know shit.
You don't know them like we know them. Max and I met through Dan and Phil. That will be discussed in 2015.
Later.
3, right? If any of the following information is wrong, we are literally so sorry.
Yeah.
Most of this came off the top of our heads, and we've done our best to cross-reference, but again, this is the lived experience of what happened.
Off the dome.
This has come from me sat in front of my laptop, typing away, being like, this is what happened in this year, this is what happened in this year. I look at the channels every now and again. It's come from my mind of being so engrossed in this fandom hellscape for 14 years now.
You guys don't want to see Kira's mind palace.
Right, the disclaimers are done. Should we get into pre-2009?
You guys are about to get fucking learnt.
Would you like to reveal their names to the people, please?
So Dan's full name is Daniel James Howell.
Good job.
Yep. He was dubbed 11 June 1991.
In woking up.
Woke.
He's woke as hell. Philip.
Well,
Michael Lester.
That says Flip.
That does say Flip, but we ignore that.
He was born in Ravensclaw.
No, try again.
Rotted.
Rottenstall. Phil was born in 1987, even. Oh my god, the bite of 1987!
Oh my god, it was him.
Was that the bite of 87?
It's very bare bones information for you to understand the conditions that led up to them meeting in 2009. Okay.
Yup.
2003, what did Dan do?
He made his first gay-ass website.
I did put gay-ass website. He then did a video on it in the future. In 2004, Phil got a black and white camera from a cereal box. That is the same camera he used to upload his first videos.
We owe our development to that little camera.
2006, Dan makes Dan Is Not on Fire, the YouTube channel, on October the 12th.
Oh, like... And they'll all go...
2007, Phil's doing side quests. Phil went on The Weakest Link, which is like a TV game show here in the UK, and he failed.
So badly.
Again, another side quest in 2008. Phil was in a thing called Faint Heart. Only very briefly mentioned, but it's stuck in my brain for the longest time. Towards the end of 2008, Formspring got involved. Formspring and Daily Booth. If you knew of Dan and Phil pre-2015, those two words strike fear into your heart.
I'll be honest, nothing is clicking here. I see.
So, Formspring and Daily Booth was involved. This carries through to 2009. Everyone cheers.
Yeah.
This is very well documented, and this is where we start to get actually into Dan and Phil history. In general, you need to understand that a lot of this is from Daily Booth and Formspring. Those two websites were absolutely massive. If you don't know what they are, they were kind of like forum sites where you could put photos, people would ask questions. Phil had built a massive following in that standard because of the fact he was emo and hot.
Yeah.
And Dan went, I like this emo hot man. And then Twitter became like the main form of communication where we could track. And why drove did people track this shit?
Mm-hmm.
In February, Phil uploads a video where he uses some tarot cards. And in this video, he predicts that the tarot cards predict, sorry, my bad.
Some guy is going to have a big impact, an energetic warrior. He has a hasty personality and he's very quick to love or hate.
This clip has a chokehold on editors to this day. At some point in May of 2009, this is their first proper outward interaction. One-sided, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dan sets up a Twitter account and starts tweeting Phil like it's his job.
Yeah.
In June, Phil first replies to Dan's tweets. The jump to October the 7th. In between June and October, there was tweets going back and forth, and they'd start mentioning each other on Daily Booth and Formspring. Something was brewing. October the 7th. First proper confirmation. Phil tweets, whoa, just talked to Dan for 5 hours.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Dan and Phil, do not sue us, okay? We're coming to your show.
October the 16th, the world changed.
Hi. So, my name is Dan.
I'm scratching at my brain right now.
Because Dan and Phil had got this reputation now on Formspring, Daily Booth, and Twitter, he gets a following from Hello Internet. He was a Nepo baby.
If there ever was a parasite, it's Daniel Howell.
It's Daniel Howell.
Sorry, I love you.
Right. October the 19th, 2009. Everyone's reaction to hearing that date. October the 19th is the day that Dan and Phil first meet. They decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to film a little video.
Yeah.
Phil is not on fire one. The day that they met, they filmed the now legendary Phil is not on fire one. Bearing in mind Dan's staying with Phil for at least 2-3 days. He's just there.
This messy ass room.
In his film, Phil is not on fire one, which again, insane that they had enough of a fandom to do that already. Then they do the whole
This was the most fun I've ever had. No!
situation.
Which was just normal for two friends.
It's just normal for two bros to do that.
Hang out.
Oh my god, they make me sick. Beverage time. God help me. From this, it's just snowball after snowball after snowball until you literally don't know who you are, where you are, and you're wearing cat whiskers. Dan then goes, you know what? Phil is not on fire one was not enough for me. I want to go back. So of October, they go to a Halloween party together. Hello, it is post-production, Kira. I actually missed something out, and I don't really know how I fucking managed to do that. But early November, Dan goes up to see Phil and some of his friends, which is when Dan actually records part of his How to Befriend Your Favourite Internet Stars, where he ties Phil up with a knife. Whole ordeal. Then after that, this very, very iconic interaction happens next. I still can't believe this is real. Back to Kira and Max. I wonder how biology can explain the physical pain in your chest when all you want to do is be with someone.
I don't know, maybe biology can explain why you're such a fucking sap. God.
Again, there was more Daily Booth and Formspring. This is all completely alleged. Dan tweeted, Uma Thurman just watched me have sex.
Allegedly. What could have he possibly meant by that? We will never know to this day, and
We
the
don't
researchers are researching.
From the end of 2009, we're in December. This is when they did an interactive Christmas adventure with one another, where this is when YouTube had annotations on videos, which were like little post-it notes on screen, that would link you to different things. It's like a choose your own path type story game. You got to like select different pathways you wanted to go, and it leads you to a different unlisted Dan and Phil video. It was honestly really ambitious at the time.
Oh my god.
2010!
Welcome back.
Some of these don't really have dates because it was really hard to pinpoint. I just know it happened in 2010. Somewhere in 2010, Phil gets a master's.
Whatever.
Dan in 2010 was on a gap year, but he was also doing a law internship because that's what he was going to study, I believe, in uni. Somewhere in 2010 as well, Dan went solo to India. We have reached a very, very important day in fan history. But before we talk about it, do not find this video. Do not watch this video. Do not talk about this video publicly.
Don't even think about it.
The video that we legally cannot mention was posted to Less Amazing Phil. This video we will then talk about further on because something happens with it. It was an unlisted April Fool's joke. They did not go through with this April Fool's joke at the time.
No. Big gap here.
Big gap. They were uploading separately. They were in tweet interactions. They saw each other literally every single fucking weekend. We're now on to May, where Phil's Not on Fire 2. Again, we did not think this was going to be like a yearly thing. We did not know that this was going to be a legacy.
No.
But it was.
This was really the development of something beautiful.
Then, somewhere in between May and August, it was Jamaica trip.
And they had some fun splashes and whatnot.
Okay. In August, Phil had finished his masters by this point, I believe. And he goes, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to move to Manchester. So guess what Dan does in September? He moves to Manchester University. Within a month, I think it was 2 weeks on the dot, he got hospitalised.
What happened to this boy?
I've got no recollection of what actually happened. All I know is Dan moved to Manchester Uni, then got hospitalised in Manchester, and Phil went with him.
Definitely got bit by like the accommodation mouse.
Then in December we got Amazing Dan too. At this point there was two separate, like Phil Is Not on Fire and Amazing Dan. Amazing Dan was on Dan's channel and Phil Is Not on Fire was on Phil's. Really have no idea how that was happening. I don't know why they needed one on each channel.
They just wanted to spend time with each other, allegedly.
The tree was uploaded on Phil's account. This video is Dan and Phil putting up a Christmas tree in Phil's apartment.
Rave time, rave time, rave time, rave time, rave time, rave time. Don't step on the glass, don't step on the glass. Tinsel in your foot, bubble in your foot, bubble in your eye. Everybody cries when you go to A&E with a bubble in your face. Blood, blood everywhere.
Shout out to Rave Time, Rave Time, Rave Time.
I still see people post the whole copy pasta on their Twitters sometimes.
Oh, it's a legacy.
2011!
We're on 2011. Okay. General information for 2011. Somewhere in this year, it's in a deleted video. Phil set a world record.
This shit was so stupid.
For stacking coins. This video is where that iconic photo of them with the really square hair is from. It was in an interview that they both did afterwards.
Yeah.
Even though Phil was the only one with the record. Don't ask me questions. February. Dan and Phil went to a My Chemical Romance concert together.
What?
The thing that the fandom evolved into was so symbiotic with like the emo trinity and that kind of culture.
The music.
That
Very
seeing
important.
them do that, it was like, oh my god, this is a lifestyle for me now.
I must have repressed it.
Back in 2009, Dan would constantly tweet about my cam and wanting to see them with Phil. Whole ordeal, allegedly. Yeah, brother. We're now in June. Dan dropped out of university.
Pride Month! I mean, who the fuck wants to study law?
But then in August, 2 months later, he just moves in with Phil. You know what? I'm not going to go home.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which, crazy. September. This is the first episode of the Super Amazing Project.
Super Amazing Project.
I genuinely believe, and I don't know if this is hyperbole, I'm the #1 fan of the Super Amazing Project.
Why do I remember just the name? What's going on with
I mentioned this to so many Dan and Phil fans, and like, I have no idea what you're on about. Super Amazing Project was a side project. It was literally like an internet weekly web show where they review certain internet news of the week. Like if you're on TikTok now, there's another person that does it. It's called Scroll Deep. It's kind of that thing where they just like review different things. They get viewers to send in them stuff. One of my favorite things is viewer spooky happenings. Photos of like pets with red eyes, or they'd look at videos of ghosts on the internet and they do it in a dark bathroom.
I confirm. I concur.
I concur.
It's happened.
You guys are watching this and you know who Dan and Phil are, or you want to know, and you have never seen a Super Amazing Project video, go
Educate yourself.
You go and watch a viewer spooky happenings segment, and then you come back to me and you tell me how that changed your life. And then, again, September was a heavy, heavy month. Dan and Phil went on holiday with Chris and PJ. Phil and PJ have been friends for ages. PJ and Chris were friends. They all kind of became friends. Someone won a competition, so all four of them went to Italy. They did so many videos in Italy. One of them was Spin the Bottle. They got dubbed. This was like one of the first YouTube groups. Fantastic Foursome. Like now, obviously, there's the Sidemen and there's Beta Squad or whatever. Fucking FaZe Clan. But we had the Fantastic Foursome.
Oh my god, the Twister video, I must have watched that like 20 times.
It genuinely is fantastic for some changed lives. We're now on the 17th of September. And this is where the video that we legally cannot be named makes a comeback. As we mentioned, this video was private. It was unlisted because it was an unused April Fool's joke. For some reason, YouTube glitches on this day, a site-wide glitch that just starts left, right, and centre unprivating video.
Literally like a fucking data breach.
Out of nowhere, this video is now unprivated. It's removed from Phil's channel within hours. People downloaded this and it got passed around a little bit. It would get like immediately taken down on YouTube. It would be immediately like, please do not post this. Because they then had to come out and say, this video was a joke, it was a joke. Again, don't fucking find this video, we will know. We will track you down.
SWAT team.
After that, the fandom went a bit crazy, and then it died down very quickly for some reason, and just was like normal in 2011. Like nothing crazy popped off yet. But then we get to November, we've got Phil's Not 5-3. Shout out. Yeah, had no idea. Then in December, the first video of the consecutive baking genre was uploaded.
Oh my god. Like, in my opinion, they're best videos.
Okay, it's How to Bake Christmas Cookies. It's a very festive video. Delia Smith has mentioned. She's a very important person. She, like, just intertwines herself with fandom history now for some reason. Delia Smith, this old-ass white chef.
I love you. Don't know who you are. I once went to Tesco as a child and saw her name on a magazine. I was like...
Christmas Day, right? 2011. So this is 13 years ago. This is how big Dan and Phil were in the up-and-coming YouTube scene. They get a radio show on BBC Radio 1 in the UK.
Sorry, I think I once heard Dan's voice in like with my dad in the car, and he was like, and now Rihanna.
They'd like branched out from this weird niche internet blog vlog type thing they created for themselves, and people went, wait, YouTubers can do that? Okay. 2012. Important thing to note about 2012. It's a harrowing year. The entirety of 2012 is encompassed by a fun little phrase called no homo howl. That is a very important phrase to remember when we recount all of this information. No homo howl, I should probably explain. Dan was so very adamant on fighting back at fans at this point, which were rightfully so. He was doing that because it was just constant intrusion of like boundaries and being very strange and obsessively inquisitive over his and Phil's sexuality at the time.
Yep.
The first YouNows were this year.
Which just does not coincide well.
YouNow was the live show thing. They literally just go live and yap and talk shit and answer questions and look at chat. And it was unfiltered headassery. And please remember, again, no homo howl as I say the next point. In February of 2012, they make a video where they put a guinea pig on Grindr.
It was a funny ass video though.
In April, Dan, Phil, and Catchrific, new character here, went to Universal, and Kat uploaded a vlog. At
I remember
this. Everyone was horrible to her.
Why?
She was getting in the way of the two people thought were gay. Catchrific, you deserved none of what you went through. The fandom was rabid, and I'm sorry to this day.
Oh my god, I can't believe that happened.
Okay, apparently I did April-March because I'm feeling fun and quirky. Okay. March. Day in the life of Manchester.
This is the one.
Every little freak remembers the feeling of not being able to go to Affleck's immediately after seeing this video. I've not actually watched this video in so long because it gives me heart pains.
Yeah.
Then in June, they went to Vegas for Dan's 21st. This then sparked a whole what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas ordeal.
Obviously a whole wedding.
Oh yeah, people, like, they got married. Okay, let's calm down. Again, no homo howl was trying to beat off these allegations. And beat off was probably not the right word.
Let me just consult the book. Let me just flip through some... Hold on. What happened in Vegas in June 2012?
2012? Because of the amount of theories that this for some reason caused about them getting married and being together, July proper ramped up for Dan Howell, and he'd be on YouNows fighting for his life.
No, Emily J, I'm not gay. Are you deaf?
I'm not gay, and then the iconic FYI I like vagina tweet. Okay, some point in July, I think they moved to London.
We were promised a day in the life London video, and we never got one.
Wrong.
Oh.
We ended July with The Wardrobe, which was uploaded on Phil's channel. It was literally domestic bliss of Dan and Phil building a wardrobe. October was a fucking hilarious point to be a Dan and Phil fan, because we got Pin-Off 4. It's Not on Fire 4 was immediately uploaded by Dan uploading a video called Fandoms, which is like a critical think piece on the way that fans begin to act and think they know everyone and are parasocial with the thing they're a fan of, in the midst of him trying to beef his own fans. Immediately after this video, the video that shall not be named, the April Fool's prank, then circulated again. I genuinely don't think Dan has been closer to mass murder before in his life.
No.
And I think he was right to do that.
It was like a fist fight.
Okay.
This was the era that was so important to me.
Yeah, this is when
Halloween
it gets proper
baking.
sentimental for me around this era. From here until like 2015, the vibes were so unmatched. If you ignored everyone being really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, another baking video, Halloween baking graveyard brownie.
The best one.
If you're looking for a very swift introduction to Dan and Phil, watch all of their baking videos in order and you will immediately understand the dynamic between them both.
Oh my god, brownies.
And then, at some point in all of this, they interviewed One Direction. Yeah, what the fuck? And then, we get a very iconic You Now, which was called Slightly Intoxicated Dan, on which Dan joins You Now a bit drunk. He chats his shit, he tries not to kill his fans, and he probably loses his mind a little bit. If you're wanting to watch a specific You Now to understand how 2012 felt, that is the one. In November, the first internet support group was uploaded. This became a very, very long-lasting series. It was basically Agony Aunt, but it's Dan How.
He left an email at the end of his videos, and I did go and email him just some random shit.
This is a key point in fandom history. We think, at this point, in November of 2012, the Hatfic was first uploaded to DeviantArt.
Oh.
If you are watching this and you know who Dan and Phil are, those 3 words are akin to being shot in the chest short range with a shotgun.
Even speaking them.
The fanfiction in which dastardly things happen with a hamster, a hat, and Dan and Phil's bodily fluids.
Written to be grotesque and disgusting.
Yeah, December. The super amazing project with Dan and Phil ended.
No!
And then in December, we got another radio show on Christmas. Which, 2013...
Welcome.
First 2 weeks of January, there's an announcement that Dan and Phil get a weekly request show on Radio 1. February, Dan hits 1 million subscribers. Hitting 1 million subscribers pre even 2016?
It was something.
Crazy. March, another video with Carific is posted. And this again starts all of the uproar of just misogyny, may we add. There was then another one where they did her makeup, and it's a very, very underrated Dan and Phil video. April. You've got to bear in mind, at this point, it's 2013, Dan and Phil have made a name for themselves being 2 awkward emo YouTubers. Their fan base follow that. Dan and Phil play Would You Rather with Fall Out Boy. And we were just meant to like act normal.
Oh my fucking god.
May is when a video called Phil and Dan in New York. Why the fuck was it Phil and Dan? No one in the history of Dan and Phil has ever said Phil and Dan. And then in July, Phil hits 1 million.
Whee!
And then, if the Would You Rather was not enough, they interview Fall Out Boy in a tent.
God.
In tent-of-view, if you will. Being weird and emo on that day felt heavenly. In the midst of all of this, they were going to conventions, somewhere in the city being one of them. Jack, of Jack and Dean, another insane YouTube duo at the time, gave us the photo of them sitting away from everyone else in just a corridor in this convention hall of them sitting on the floor by themselves.
Having some scran.
One of the most important videos to ever grace Dan and Phil history. Like, genuinely such a key point. I Can't Even Geek Week special. I Can't Even was a show hosted by Chris Kendall. Crabsticks. Specific one, they got a bunch of internet nerds together. And it was like a bunch of question rounds. They had to do charades. Dan and Phil were leaders of opposite teams. I know Charlie Is So Cool Like was there. This is where the 2022 marriage begins. The question is that Chris asks...
In 2022, who was best man at Dan and Phil's wedding?
A terrifying crossfeed of you and PJ.
Correct!
It was such an adrenaline rush to see this video when it got posted, and then immediately see all of the gift sets on Tumblr. This is also when in 2013, Flower Crown edits.
Aww.
They started major traction. It was one of the more wholesome editing things that the fandom decided to adopt. Shit then took a turn. Again, this is in between July and November. Chris Crabsticks, aka one of the Fantastic Four and the person who hosted I Can't Even Geek Week special, he went on Ask FM and started answering questions about the Fantastic Four. He then went on this answering rant and was like, we were never friends, we were colleagues. I don't even like them. Never really seen them again. There was one photo of them, which was at a convention, only photo we have got since. Chris and PJ are still friends. Chris just tried to come back to the internet a few times and just hasn't managed to.
Christ.
Like, they've hung out with PJ. PJ's hung out with Chris. They've never been in the same room since. It still lives in my brain, though, rent-free. I miss a Fantastic Awesome every day, and I hope they can hash it out one day.
They will. They won't.
Dan and Phil versus Tumblr. Again, this was so soon after the No Homo Howl thing started. I have no idea why Dan went, you know what would be a really good idea looking at the Dan and Phil Tumblr. We're in November now. We're in November of 2013. Phil's Not on Fire 5.
Yeah.
Another iconic legacy of Dan and Phil. The Photo Booth Challenge.
I love this fucking video.
Photo Booth Challenge was so many people's first video. They discovered Dan and Phil through this stupid video of them acting up, being stupid, pushing one another.
I'm a moon child.
We have a lovely Clips channel come out of the works. Clips channels are so, like, overdone now, like with YouTube Shorts and stuff. This was the original YouTube Shorts for us. A wonderful, wonderful channel called Dan Is Not on Fire VU1.
He crazy, I know what you're thinking. Rapping, I know what you're drinking. Rap singer, chain blinger, holla at the next chick soon.
They'd literally go through every single second of their YouNow live streams and upload like really key important fandom moments.
You're joking.
So we could just get them in short form content. Their channel's called something like Flamingo in the Void now. But no, I remember you as Dan Is Not on Fire VU1. December of 2013. Dan ended 2013 with 3 million subscribers, which is crazy because he didn't even have 1 million a year ago.
Congrats, Daniel.
Congrats,
Oh.
Daniel. Okay, 2014. February, Dan and Phil host the YouTube live stream of the Brits. Again, this is all very crazy. Dan and Phil now have their own radio show. They're interviewing major bands like One Direction and Fall Out Boy. They're hosting the Brits and doing the internet streaming of Reading and Leeds. They have branched out so far from what YouTube was. No one had done this before and everyone was scared.
On a mission to find our inner peace.
We're now jumping to June in 2014. From here, so much is going on that it's only really key points. In June, we get to VidCon California. There is a panel show going on. It's Dan, Phil, and a bunch of other people. Phil goes to answer questions and then gets talked over by other people on the panel. Dan is not having any of this. Dan grabs the mic. It all goes silent. Dan goes, "Can Phil please express an opinion?" Change lives.
Breaking down walls.
In between all of this, YouNow's weekly is still happening. It's all very, very scary. 5th of August in 2014. We get one of the best and most insane fandom clips we've ever got. Dan Howell can play the piano. Dan Howell does not like to play the piano on live stream. On this magnificent day, Dan Howell decides to play Ingenue by Tom York, the lead singer of Radiohead, on piano, on a YouNow live stream.
I can hear it in my head.
Yeah. became people's alarm clocks. This became people's ringtones. This has circulated. I saw a clip of this last week on TikTok.
I'm saying, like...
Then in August as well, Dan and Phil did a collab with EE, the mobile phone network.
Oh, piss off.
And made their own SIM card for UK residents. This SIM card, it came in Dan and Phil themed packaging. There was exclusive Dan and Phil photos in the thing. You got more data on this SIM card. Right? Crazy.
I was living in Poland at the time and I was seething with envy.
I, a UK resident, got 2 of these. September 1st is the first internet takeover show on BBC Radio 1. This is where it wasn't a weekly request show much anymore. It was Dan and Phil's own thing. They had a radio show for fucking ages now, like over a year or 2, and obviously with the Christmas specials. But I say Christmas specials like it's Doctor Who. Anyway, then they were the first radio station in the UK to ever play Troye Sivan.
I blacked out. What? Yes, Troye Sivan. Yeah.
It is mine and Phil's honour as a fellow YouTuber premiering on BBC Radio 1 on the Dan and Phil show. This is Troye Sivan with Happy Little Pill.
Go fuck off.
Happy little Phil. Damn, I need a drink, man.
Thinking how I only have 1 cigarette to get me through this.
September the 12th, 2014. This is a heritage day. Thank you. Dan and Phil Games was created.
God.
This gaming channel all of a sudden gave us everything we did not know we could ever have from Dan and Phil. And this is a joint channel.
Yes.
We never thought we'd see the day where there is a Dan and Phil joint channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was everything we ever wanted.
2 weeks of making the channel, they start the Sims 4 series. And
of course, go on to make a fucking person that is a merge of the two. And then for a second, they considered naming it Fan, Phan. No,
exactly.
No, you cannot.
They went, no, that's too obvious. We'll go for Dill.
Stupid.
A crazy September in 2014. Couldn't get crazier. October, we get another baking video.
Spooky Cupcakes. This is the best one.
This is one of the best ones. We had a new radio show. There was YouNows going on. We then got Dan and Phil Games. Then got Halloween baking video. And then in November, we still got Phil's Not on Fire 6, right? And then in December, we got a festive day in the life.
Good God, this is the one.
I
mean, another one of the ones. Another one of the ones.
Everyone was like, holy fucking shit. And then we got another video of them like putting up the tree and what their Christmas tree looked like in their flat. Hammers. Hammers are raining down on me. This could be wrong. I have tried to fact check this. Phil's brother, his name's Martin, shout out Mook and Toucan, he started his own company, which was a merchandise company.
Nice.
Okay? This then started Dan and Phil Shop.
2015.
There has to be its own 2015 disclaimer here. This is when everyone who was weird and emo and online at any point in their lives knew of Dan and Phil. This was a year everything ballooned far out of proportion that I'd again never seen before in my life. Fandom culture got real weird with it. It wasn't all 2015, but a lot of these were so popular in 2015, they are synonymous with 2015.
There was a copy pasta where it was like, okay, guys, I know this is like silly, but like, what if we just all stopped doing the fan stuff and see how they reacted? And like, what if we just halted it? Everyone stop. Everyone just put your pens down. Like, girl, it's not gonna happen.
No, they would have thanked us. There was then a rise in fan edits. This was when Vine was popping off, and YouTube AMVs were making shit you'd never seen before. But Max, imagine it. Fall Out Boy, come on. Weird Fix once again picked up traction, and this is when they became intertwined with the lore and history of the fandom itself. Like the Hat Fix specifically, Dan and Phil have made jokes about it, and everyone knew about it, and it was always like, oh my god, never read this, and people were like, I'm so curious, I'm gonna read it. That's how it picked up traction. People going, don't read it, and then people would read it, and then post again, don't read it.
My go-to icebreaker for years probably was,
like,
do you know the Hat Fix? Have you heard of that?
That was a major one. The Skim Fic was the one that they read on the Tumblr tag, which picked up traction.
What were we trying to work through here? psychologically.
Yeah, a lot.
Like,
And
what
also,
kind of
I need to
repressed
say-
ass, Freudian ass bullshit was this?
There was
Really bad.
so many conventions this year. I went to Summer in the City this year. I didn't get to meet Dan and Phil because it was like a ticket system and every gay fucking person there wanted to meet Dan and Phil. But I did wave at PJ and Chris as I did that Oscars hotel booth, and I cried.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I think this was 2015. I can't remember the exact date it dropped. 2015, maybe 2014. The song 2009 dropped. Okay? This was a fan song about Dan and Phil in 2009, and it spread like a genuine disease. This would be in the background of edits, it would be quoted as lyrics on Tumblr quote blogs. I'm going to include a photo with a wiki on the creator, like Totally Eden. Again, they scrubbed their entire internet footprint. I don't know
Good
where they
job,
are anymore, but
Eden.
no.
Why am I just like having a bare flashback? I don't remember a single song, and I'm glad I don't. I really hope I have never listened to these.
We're now only into January of 2015. That was all disclaimer. Dan and
Nice.
Phil Punk Edits IRL.
An amazing video.
Incredible video. There was a time on Tumblr where every single person, especially in an emo sphere, needed to be tattoos, black hair, chokers, piercings. But this Punk Edits video changed lives, it just spurred more edits, and it was a really good time to be alive. Out of fucking nowhere, the UK release of Big Hero 6, the Disney movie about the fucking adorable bitch-ass robot, with Fall Out Boy in the fucking soundtrack, Dan and Phil voiced Technician 1 and 2 in Big Hero 6.
And the fucking the animated technicians even look like them.
This February, Dan and Phil host the Brits again. In the live stream, we get a clip of Dan and Phil dancing together to Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. This, I'm so surprised more people don't yap about on TikTok to this day. Drink break.
I really hope you don't have to use my recording of this, because I've just been eating crisps and putting myself on mute while I munch on the crisps. They are quite soft now. They've been open for a while. I fucking hate these two. Phil and Dan in Japan. Phil and Dan.
March.
March.
The month that changed fandom history forever. And I know you might be thinking, well, there's been a whole lot of those months. This one is for real. In March, we get gifted a trailer.
Very weird trailer.
Very strange. And it's an old woman being very sentimental with cat whiskers on her face. This trailer is promoting a book and a tour.
Planting seeds in a way that's never been done before,
They would
where
definitely
you
be
are
the
meant to
first
be this old woman 60 years into the future who's drawing cat whiskers onto her face, and you are now told, go to this tour, and then you will remember it and you will love it.
There was staging, there was a story. You can watch The Amazing Tour Is Not on Fire on YouTube if you want to, and I recommend it because holy fucking shit. A point that is not Dan and Phil directly law related, but is very important to me and Max as people. When this book was announced, The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire, Max wanted to order this book. It was a pre-order, okay? Max spoke to me in confidence that he was really nervous he'd miss out on content of the book because it was unfinished as he was pre-ordering it. You assumed that the pre-order would ship the book in its exact state.
Yeah. Like, I thought pre-order meant, yeah, you get it now, but at the cost of getting it when it's not finished.
It is really important to remember that's how young and stupid we were at this time.
Yeah, like, I literally thought I was going to get half a book.
The energy in the fandom and on, like, social media spaces, specifically for Dan and Phil, I'd never seen anything like it, and it felt like constantly having hits of Class A drugs. Also in March, the Blindfolded Makeup Challenge was uploaded. This was a Red Nose Day video. And then, another life-changing month. April Fool's Day. Dan and Phil's track record of April Fool's jokes not really gone down well. This one!
This was a good one.
Dan and Phil Crafts was born. Dan and Phil Crafts was a joke joint channel where they crafted, not cried, crafted weird kind of analog horror YouTube videos that was them doing joint crafts together as a joke, and they definitely meant it to be a one-time thing. Spoiler, it hasn't been.
No. I just bleaked.
We got an Easter baking video. They had stupid costumes on.
The best one.
It was the best one. Easter nests, mini eggs, love that.
It was so cute.
I don't remember a single successful baking video where they actually made something that looked edible. This was probably the closest.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, still April. Nick Jonas of the hit trio The Jonas Brothers, out of nowhere, tweets Dan Howell at Dan is not on fire. Hey buddy, you in London?
I blacked this out. I ignored this so hard.
Because this was the exact same day that Dan and Phil flew to Tokyo together for their first Japan trip. We got so much content, including this very, very iconic selfie of them together with the fucking fox sweatshirt and the cherry blossoms in the background.
They need to be killed
This
with hammers.
was everyone's icon for about 4 years. Day in the life of Japan, yeah.
No, Phil walking through the fucking archway where you're not meant to walk through it unless you're a god.
Stop it!
Where it confirms that he is actually an otherworldly being. And then the hall we got at the end, and then at the end of that video, the hall was just Dan singing the Totoro theme and just yawning. And just...
This first Japan trip fed what felt like delusion and also an obsession and addiction borderline.
Yeah, it was like a drug coursing through our veins.
This has no impact on Dan and Phil Law, so if you want to skip this, please do. I'll put a timestamp on the screen. Skip it. This is Stupied Law. May the 3rd or the 4th.
Wait, how is it different dates? Whatever. Yeah, we met.
It was 2 dates because... Wait, no, it was the 3rd for me, 4th for you. Because you're an hour ahead in Poland. It was midnight for you and 11:30 for me. We meet. We have our first interaction ever. We become friends because of a mutual friend posts a status, which I'm not going to say the content of because it wasn't safe for work, in a Dan and Phil fan group on Facebook. Max comments on this Facebook post. I then go, oh my god, he's 10. Bearing in mind, I was 11.
Good God.
Thought I was one of the youngest members in that Facebook group at the time.
Yeah.
No. I go, I need to immediately become friends with this man. Because he is 10 and I'm 11. This is someone else that is my age. Everyone else, including the mutual friend at the time, was 16 and over, usually about 17 or 18. Like now, it's minors do not interact. Girl, this was minors interact with everyone all of the time without any repercussion.
Yeah.
So we met in the Dan and Phil Facebook group and we became friends. Unrelentingly from his part, unwantingly from mine. Here are some images from the 2015 fan space at the time, as sent to me and Max at the time they were being made. So this is the realest it'll get, ever. The Dan and Phil hamsters. Now, Max and I think we made these. We can't be sure. This is when it started shifting to pastel aesthetics, and we got, for some fucking reason, a Dan Howell Rickroll cover photo on a pastel grid.
Oh boyo.
Go back to the timeline, King. Are you back on the timeline?
I am.
Okay. August, The Amazing Tourist Not on Fire started. The internet is...
Ridiculous.
The
Golden
Amazing Tourist Not on
fucking...
Fire got released. Do you still have your copy? You have it right now.
You got it right with me, yeah.
Insane merch collection dropped in 2015. The original Galaxy backpack that got me bullied in school. And also the 7-second challenge.
Oh my god.
That Phil primarily made, where you had like 7 seconds to do a certain action, and it was honestly really fucking fun. And Phil Lester made that game, and then YouTube started it as a trend, and no one credited Phil, and I'm fuming to this day.
Yeah, that was kind of unfair. What the hell, guys?
September 2015. No more draw Phil naked.
No.
It's exactly what it fucking sounds like. At the end of each video, for some unbeknownst reason, Phil had a contest for viewers to draw him naked not showing anything.
A cartoony style type
Yeah,
thing.
Godspeed to all of you who submitted a drawing and then had to explain this to a parent.
Hit my head on my wardrobe very hard.
October, we had Halloween baking on Dan's channel. Everything had been on Phil's channel before this, but we got Dan's channel Halloween baking, which was spiced cookies. We used to be a real country. And then we got Tumblr Tags 3. Dan and Phil started a series where they go through their own Tumblr tag. Insane.
Are those still up?
The Tumblr tags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
November, we got Pin-Off 7.
How could we not have done it without a 7th pin-off?
How could we have lived without a 7th pin-off? 2016. This is where the fandom was probably the biggest it had ever been. It was really hard to manage and keep up with at the time. In April, it was the final internet takeover, their weekly show. I mourn it every day. I miss sitting in my kitchen with my mum's shit radio, waiting for the time to roll around, and I can hear their stupid voices.
God.
April 1st, second Dan and Phil Crafts video uploaded. We did not know this was going to be a legacy. We did not know there was going to be more than one upload of Dan and Phil Crafts. The second one rolls around and everyone goes, holy shit, this is a yearly thing now. We've then got the Amazing Troy's Not on Fire US leg. This is where they went to America for months on end and performed their fucking sold-out stage show for nights and nights and nights. Can you do me a favour of reading out the July thing, please?
Oh wow. July was Dan's diss track.
A rendition of the Dan diss track now.
You loser, you gay loser.
First things first, you're freakishly tall. It's weird. You look like a noodle. You got hair that was cool in 2007, and wet you just look like a poodle. Hobbit.
Oh my god, why did he do this? Who
again,
asked you?
There was a line in that which says, no one even tagged him in this. Dan Howell went online, dropped the hardest fucking banger you've ever heard, calling himself gay.
Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay.
Anyway, August rolls around. Day in the life in Australia.
Good God,
they
I love
hold
this one.
koalas. I
They do.
need a day in the life again so bad. September of 2016. The iconic image of Phil Lester eating cereal was posted on Dan's Twitter. This was after like a genuine feud between the two of them, where Phil was like, I'm not eating your cereal out of the box. And Dan was like, you fucking are though. You are eating my cereal out of the box. Dan caught Phil doing this and genuinely aired him publicly on Twitter.
The picture's so funny.
October, a very weird instance occurred of Dan and Phil jointly, together, winning the Best Vlogger Awards at the BBC Teen Awards. Together, won the single award.
It's amazing how joint at the hip and inseparable the two
They were a sole entity at this point. It wasn't for Dan and Phil Games, it was for their YouTube channels, but they won the award together.
Similarly to the fucking coin stacking world record shit.
Halloween baking comes back. Halloween baking, I will list every single baking video because everyone should watch them multiple times. I stand by the fact, other than the Phil's Not on Fires, it is the best way to see their dynamic as a pair. November
Need to watch that.
2016, Phil's Not on Fire 8, which coincided with the release of Dan and Phil's second book. I can't tell you what was in Dan and Phil Go Outside. Hilarious name.
Dan and Phil touch grass.
In another weird award, Phil wins Best Creator at the Bonkers Awards, right? So he goes up and he then says,
I've spent the majority of 2016 with another person, Dan Howell. So I think it's only fair that he comes up here and shares this with me. Come on. We could saw it in half.
Okay, I mean, we've literally been nominated for every award together. It's not even a joke at this point.
What if I slit my throat with a knife?
We're in December now, 2016. Dan and Phil.
No, not this.
Gorillas that are princes in a Disney Junior show. Both talked about a project they really did not want to do. And it was either the second book, because they were locked into a 2-book contract, or it was them voicing these fuck-ass gorilla princes.
I think what happened is Walt Disney himself rose from the grave and was like, you two are going to do this.
Things just started like dropping out of nowhere. And we had to just like accept it, move on, and acknowledge it, make an edit about it, and then leave.
There was no time.
Finally, we're in 2017.
We made it, everyone cheered.
January.
Oh, he finally stopped straightening his hair.
Since he first was gaining traction on Formspring and Daily Bruce, this motherfucker had been sizzling his follicles with a GHD. The quiff was still there, but it was frizzy and wavy, and everyone lost their shit.
We finally got the permanent Hobbit hair.
February in 2017, which is pastel edits in real life.
This was the startification of the TikTokification of the everythingification. It was like,
yeah,
things were merging.
Crazy. Just how many like interactions you could get on social media for posting a photo of them two edited into a pink jumper with like soft hair.
And like a flower crown, yeah.
March of 2017 haunts me, and I don't know if you're going to remember this. There was a YouNow where Dan Howell mentions that he had a really horrible week. Like a horrible weird week is kind of his words. For some reason, his exact phrasing of saying a weird week spawns 2015 level theories and harassment. The fandom had kind of learned to be relatively more normal and keep Dan and Phil actually out of all of their insane theories and just share it amongst one another like a really strange disease. This kickstarted something in people's heads where it just immediately flicked a switch, and there was countless tweets at Dan being like, I know what you did. They were like, Dan and Phil got married, Dan and Phil fucked. It was explicit and disgusting.
What? I do not remember this. Maybe
later on, Dan then addresses this. He then says that this weird week that he mentioned that spawns all of these theories and harassment of Dan and Phil was because he had serious antidepressant withdrawal. People sharing that with people at the time. Fucking guess why?
Yeah.
Genuinely, this was the point where so many people checked themselves and went, what we are doing and the extent we are consuming and obsessing over this content and these two people we really don't know should be put in check. It was such a good thing that happened off the back of something so horrid.
Jesus, he is so strong.
After this, in March, we got an iconic YouNow, though, of them together, where they just had like boxes on and it was a whole thing. They had to like continue. They spoke about it in the YouNow, where they had to like continue moving the pillow whenever one of them moved because like we just couldn't be bothered to put pants on. It's not listed on Less Amazing Phil, but you can find it.
Very smart movements.
I'm not saying do that. April 2017, Easter baking, pastel edition.
Huh?
They did a video where it was their normal baking Easter situation, but they had the pastel fits on from Pastel Edits IRL. May. I did not realise this was May of 2017. Dan is Not on Fire? Rebrand.
Like actual rebrand this time. This was earlier than I thought. I thought this happened more recently. What the fuck, guys?
I fully thought this was 2019.
Yeah.
2017, Dan changes his channel name from Dan is Not on Fire to Daniel Howe. Not Dan Howe. Daniel Howe.
Piss off.
If you were there for this rebrand, it felt like such a massive thing and ended up having absolutely no impact on his content whatsoever.
No, but it was like the death of a family member nonetheless.
For no reason. For no reason at all. Right. October 2017. Conjoined Halloween baking.
What's this? Like the 9th baking video?
If the baking videos weren't enough, they were like, fuck it, let's merge. And then they dropped Truth Bombs, which was a party game, which no one yaps about anymore, and it was like a fun little party card game, and I want to play it so bad. In November 2017.
Final internet support group. Last one, guys.
But again, it feels like something shifted when it was the last one. We didn't really know it was going to be the last one, but it felt different. So there was like a weird energy in the fandom. But then Dan and Phil and dogs appeared.
What?
It was for a calendar that they did for their merch shop. And then they just dropped a video of Dan and Phil and dogs for their calendar, and it was a lot.
Oh my god. I'm still so upset I never had like a calendar of them. Pin-off 9! Another one? Good god.
Another one? Another pin-off. After pin-off 9, Interactive Introverts dropped. Out of nowhere, again, Dan and Phil going on another fucking tour. Went on to be one of the biggest YouTube tours ever done, to this day, bearing in mind this was 2017. I can't remember much of anything from Interactive Introverts, because there was a lot going on in 2017. I know there's a clip of Dan playing the piano while Phil sits on it. December. Dan and Phil School launches Japan versus UK.
I don't remember that one.
I did not remember this one until going through their channels. It's where, first of all, Dan's dressed up like a Japanese schoolgirl. The video's fucking class. I rewatched it, and it should be a heritage video. And then, another video no one else remembers, Dan and Phil 2017 blooper reel. All of the sketches and everything they've done and filmed together, there is a fucking blooper reel of it. Everything they did together in 2017 has bloopers that we got. I've got nothing to say about this image. 2018!
Welcome.
Okay, January. Show me your birthday philosophy.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
This was an era where Dan had been in charge of getting Phil's birthday cakes. Still going on to this day, may I add, may I please? Things were shifting here. There was a change in the air. Things were going on, and none of us could quite grasp what it is.
The air was
This
thick
point-
with it.
Okay.
They needed to calm down at this point, but they didn't.
They did not. They did not. Well, technically Dan did, because after March, where we got another Easter baking video,
Yeah.
which was Bunny Biscuits, Dan stopped posting. Get a grip, Max. We're in 2018.
Okay.
Remember, Dan is not posting on his main channel anymore.
I missed him.
Until I next say that he posts on his channel, he is not posting on his main channel. Okay? What Dan and Phil text each other, first installment.
Oh, wow.
These videos have replaced Phil Is Not On Fire for me. And they do it to this day, and if they stop, I'm going to riot. Anyway, October. It's not a baking video, but it is a pumpkin carving video, which also changed lives. Also in October, and I will fight anyone that does not agree with me on this. Potentially the best, most important Dan and Phil video ever posted, which is such a representation of both of their personalities working together and reflecting on everything they've built so far.
Oh, wow.
The intro to that video, first 3 seconds, is Dan crying over dipping his pizza in a delicious condiment.
For the books. For the books.
For the books. December. Phil Is Not On Fire 10. What ended up being the final Phil Is Not On Fire to ever be posted. In the arms of
the angels.
I miss her every day. She was such a legacy, and if you're just getting into Dan and Phil now, I'm so sad that you do not have the experience of seeing that notification in November or December.
Get to watching all of them again.
If the final Phil Is Not On Fire was not enough emotionally, Dan and Phil Games went on an official hiatus. This hiatus went on to last 5 or 6 years.
This is where we all went into a coma.
2019! Woo! This is where my collection gets rocky. Content got rocky. The whole fucking world got rocky, but I tried my best. We're starting in June. This is how rocky it got. Important to mention, Phil was still regularly uploading to his own channel. Dan had not uploaded until June the 13th, 2019, which was his birthday. Dan Howell posts the video, basically, I'm gay. I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly where Max was. I remember exactly how we both reacted to this video. Here is the genuine text of when the notification dropped in everyone's inboxes. Dan Howell had not posted in over a year, and he comes back with a coming out video. I was in a Tesco queue. For some reason, had my phone on in this Tesco queue, and I hear the messenger notification. I'm like, okay, Max needs something. I open my phone, and it is a screenshot of the phrase, basically, I'm gay.
Can we just say, is he memeing?
Is he memeing? I was convinced this was a joke.
Oh, God.
Like, he would joke about that. Anyway, I stand by the fact that this is one of the most influential and honest coming out videos that has ever been uploaded to YouTube and that I will ever see in my lifetime. If Dan's video, Phil also kind of comes out because Dan talks about his experience with Phil, and Phil also realizing he was gay. But then I think it was June the 30th, Phil comes out with a video of his own. And it's very, very sweet. And both of them are very, very important to watch, even if you are not a Dan and Phil enjoyer. Just to analyse the effect that fan culture can have on a person.
No, genuinely, like, what have we done?
Anyway, move on. Otherwise, I will cry. From Dan Howell coming back and uploading that video, he disappears again. He's gone. He came back after a year, uploaded that video, and he just kind of dropped off the face of the earth again. Which brought about the joint content meme, which was even if Dan Howell's elbow was in a video, that was joint content.
Yay.
If Dan Howell was in the background of Phil filming, joint content. If Dan was helping and you heard him laugh, joint content.
Because remember, they live together.
They live together, of course. In the second London apartment, that was definitely a real place.
Mm-hmm.
The only content we got was the occasional Instagram post and cameos in Phil videos.
We got what we deserved.
We deserved nothing more from that man.
Mm-hmm. And then look at the expression of pure joy on his face in this fucking image. What a digital detox does to a man, like
in November of 2019. So this was after the hype around Basically I'm Gay died down, and everyone was kind of coming to terms with the fact that this was like a Dan and Phil we'd never known before. They went back to Japan. Japan too! I'm completely fucking wrong. They did go to Japan in 2019, but the thing I'm thinking of was Japan in 2023. So actually, what I'm going to show you is Japan 3.
Mm-hmm.
We got one of the best Dan and Phil photos we've ever had. And another post of Phil was captioned, "Your dad's had a dank holiday in Japan." Your dad's had a dank holiday. Oh. Going from the end of 2019, the pandemic. 2020. Phil continually uploaded through quarantine, through moving, through the pandemic itself. Phil did not stop uploading no matter what was going on in his life, and the fact that Dan wasn't uploading either. He carried us, man. All of my fandom mutuals at this point were going through something. Like, it had got to the point where mid-2020, we genuinely believed we'd never see them on camera together in a video again. Like, this was the end of Dan and Phil. Like, if we had to name eras, this was it.
Christ, I never even fucking clocked this.
My personal favourite video of this 2020 time, of Phil being the backbone of YouTube at the time, was Dan and Phil trying to rescue a wild pigeon. It lived outside their house and had a partner pigeon.
Oh,
and it
wow.
got injured, and they tried to have to, like, save it and take it to the RSPCA.
Oh, the fucking implications.
It was...
Not even implications, but just, like, look at the parallels.
Right. We then get to December of 2020. And I'm talking the very drabbles of December 2020. The entire fandom at this point had come to terms with the fact that Dan and Phil was not a thing anymore that we'd get to experience on the internet. Understandably so, we didn't deserve it, but in December, Phil goes live on an app called Stereo. Imagine you now, but it was for podcasts, you couldn't see them, right?
No, yeah.
Phil is joined by Dan.
Am I alive?
I don't know.
That's the real question. Was I ever alive? Maybe this whole time I've always just been a figment of Phil's imagination, and this is actually quite a sad story.
Don't say that.
On that note, hi, it's a pleasure to be back. Thanks for having me, buddy.
First genuinely joint content that Dan was actually in as his own person in over a year. They announce that they've brought a house together. Not only do they announce they've brought a house together, they have designed this home.
I was so deep in denial about everything that was happening here.
It felt like genuinely I got picked out of a claw machine by my head and placed in a utopia. I remember nothing else from 2020. Again, in my defense, a lot of the things were going on in the grander fucking scheme of the world. Forgive me. If there's things from 2020 I've missed, I'm sorry, alright? I've tried.
Yeah, well, guys.
Guys, you've got to cut me slack here. It was a hard fucking time. We're now in 2021. Home stretch, brother. Home stretch. January of 2021. Phil uploads the live stream that he did in December with Dan in the flesh.
Life update. Are you ready for this, everybody?
We have bought a house.
Dun dun dun.
It's official. Not like the last time that we tried and then they said that there was a dead body.
Yeah.
And we got scared and then we didn't.
Yeah.
This time successfully.
It's the real
Boom.
deal.
How's that?
Yeah, how's that? So, this has been a project that we've been working on since 2017.
It is a new build, and that means that other than the outside, which we couldn't change, we have designed the entire thing from the ground up. We really have every single thing.
We haven't had any spare time because every minute of spare time has been working on the house.
Yeah, it turns out that's quite a big job.
Fuck off.
It was a dire fucking time, and they came through. You know that clip of Superman? It was like, "You girls need some help. I'm on my way." That was this. For like the first 4 months, they did like bi-weekly stereo lives together, which was just the You Now era part 2. And they just talked about moving, about where they were in their lives, what they were watching, what they were doing, what they were eating for tea.
God.
Some of my favourite titles, and these are real, genuine titles: Quarantining Queers, Homosexual Homeowners, Relocating Rats.
Random. Quirky.
This is basically their moving diaries, and they called it that, detailing what they were doing to move into their new house that they designed together.
I'm biting my nails.
We're now in February 2021. Cards Against Humanity, Dan and Phil edition. Sorry, fan edition. That's what it was called.
Oh, God.
This was a time where they start using the word fan very liberally.
No.
They just throw it around like it's nothing. Like it didn't ruin their lives near enough. Anyway, out of nowhere, in May, Dan Howell drops another book, solo. You will get through this night. It is like a self-help book that details his struggles with mental health issues and stuff. As promo for this, like partly, there's a video on Phil's channel called I Tried to Give Dan a Haircut, where, shock, Phil cuts Dan's hair.
Wow.
And towards the end of this video, there's like Phil's like, go on, promo your book. So Dan starts to promo his book, and Dan is kind of like, in this book I speak about having really close friends, and that'll be you, Phil, and we all killed ourselves. It is so sweet, and I'm very, very fond of this video.
The thing I talk about is the importance of having people to support you, and that's been you throughout my life. Through all the little existential crises, you've been there feeding me snacks.
I have.
And as annoying as you have been, at least you've been there.
Thanks, Dan. That was too positive. We can't end the video like that.
It makes me want to cry. Like, if I think about it, I will start crying. June 2021. Bearing in mind, this is only 6 months after Dan Howell is suddenly back making content again, joint content at that. We had no, like every single video was a blessing, because we knew every single time there was an upload together, they could stop at any point.
Mm-hmm.
There is a story time on Phil's channel of Dan having to call Phil an ambulance. This might be the glue video. Dan has had to call Phil an ambulance many, many times. This might be the bit where Phil had a panic attack because he ate glue.
Yeah.
But in this video, we get little snippets of their home.
What is that?
Ridiculous.
It felt like doing crap. Then, November 2021. No one remembers this video. Hometown Showdown.
Wait, they travelled to their hometowns?
This video was half an hour long. It was Dan and Phil in Phil's hometown versus Dan and Phil in Dan's hometown. And they each had little challenges for one another of what they used to do in their own hometowns to see which hometown was the better hometown.
Hold up. Wait, what the fuck?
They go on like a tube toboggan type thing. They walk dogs together around Rottenstall.
How have I not seen this, or have I?
It's crazy. We're in December now, 2021. What Dan and Phil text each other to.
Could have worn something a little bit festive. That looks quite satanic. I'm just going to say it.
This is not satanic.
Oh, what is it?
It's stars. It's supposed to look celestial. Shut up, you look like a fucking Battenberg.
Hey, people want to eat this slice.
More like you're too sweet and make people sick.
Okay, well...
Hi.
So, so today we're smashing two things together, which are a review...
Finally!
No. Oh my god.
This is like those memes you have on Twitter with like, me and my roommate have the best dynamic. No, you fucking don't.
No,
it was
you
always
don't,
Dan and Phil.
because,
it was always them.
Out of nowhere, after Hometown Showdown, and deeply missing the impact of A Phil Is Not on Fire, we get what Dan and Phil text each other number 2.
Piss off! Like, what the
Fuck off, guys! Be for real! Things shifted. Things were changing, and it felt like that, and everyone acknowledged it.
It was like an avalanche.
This brings us to 2022.
I need to pour myself another.
We're starting in May. Bearing in mind, it's important to remember, Phil was carrying, he was uploading consistently on his own throughout all of this. Phil Lester, I owe you my life.
So many videos.
Out of fucking nowhere, Dan Howell main video.
It was like basically I'm Gay Part 2.
It's titled Why I Quit YouTube. Shock. Dan Howell quit YouTube. We knew this. It's basically explaining his absence. He got like shafted by a TV show, his mental health was fucked, it was all too much pressure. In this video, when he talks about all of this stuff happening, then drops that he's going on a solo tour called We're All Doomed, and he's going to start producing content again.
Yay. It really felt like a goodbye, this video.
We did not think this was happening. We thought Dan was completely done. This video in itself was very long, and all of the reasons were completely understandable.
And he got to diss YouTube.
Embarrassing Dan birthday pictures came back on Phil's Twitter. We had a couple of these in like 2014, 2015, 2016. First time since 2018, we got these photos again. And after Dan's video, it felt like another shift. We did not think we were getting these back. This same year, we got regular Phil birthday cake photos again.
Oh my god.
August rolls around. Dan announces Dystopia Daily.
I hold that show so dear to my heart.
It deserved so much more than it got. This was a genuine series that had production value and guests and theming that was all so very rebranded Dan Howell into this like existential but kind of hopeful but completely lost kind of guy.
But very honest.
I will defend Dystopia Daily till I die. Me and Max are shooters for Dystopia Daily. August, Dan announces Dystopia Daily. His first guest? Phil.
Hello? Dan. Is he okay? This looks amazing. If that helps. Do you think you're going to have a better guest? Is that what's happening?
Welcome, Phil. It's Phil. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, great fucking answer. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god.
I just went to a place that had a Japanese toilet, actually, so I've had a great blast of cold water up my ass. Which you need on this hot day.
Do you believe that human ethics are natural or just learned?
What? Is that the first question?
Here we are.
Here we are.
Dan and Phil.
Yeah.
Two real human people with full lives.
Last time I checked.
We have really done it, Phil.
We've done it.
We have done it all. We have given it everything, and yet people want more.
What could they possibly want?
Do you know what people want?
What?
I'll tell you what they want. They want the truth. For once, Phil, they just want the goddamn truth.
Oh no.
Are we gay? Did we fuck? What the fuck is the situation now? Do we really live together? Where's Phil's secret wife? Just stop the lies!
He did not tell me any of this, by the way.
Stupid guys. Attend We're All Doomed. If you've not seen We're All Doomed, slight spoilers here, the show takes very much a second act turn. I hate being alive! Where it gets very, very existential, and he starts talking about a lot of dark topics. Max and I are sat third from the front row, sobbing. Well,
out of my mind, just like eyes blank.
It was such a full circle moment. for anyone that went. And in the crowd, it was all like 18, 19-year-old gay people experiencing that same level of emotion. Other than this show being genuinely harrowing to a point where it makes you come to terms with things, there's a Mad Libs section. Max and I got a word on the Mad Libs board.
We did. Who the fuck spelled broccoli like that?
But sat there in the sea of emo gay people, yelling words at Dan Howell, and we yelled the word dildo.
It was you.
It was me, but then I looked to you for support. I yelled the word dildo. Dan Howell then said dildo, and I looked at Max trying to get him to put me down. Anyway, back to Dystopia Daily. The series actually starts releasing. The episode that Phil is in is called Dan and Phil Finally Tell the Truth. I reveal a lot of stuff in this video. The bit we should be talking about, the second London apartment.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That apartment was a set.
What the fuck, guys?
This is a good one for the floor plan stalkers out there. Our last flat in London wasn't real.
Oof, it was a simulation. no, it was technically real.
Okay,
I know what you're saying.
Am I saying
You
this?
can say it. You can say it.
We wanted an apartment with 3 bedrooms so we could have a dedicated gaming channel space because I am not filming YouTube videos in my actual bedroom anymore, okay? It's fucking weird.
It is a bit weird.
It made me go insane having tripods pointed at my bed. People thought that I was a freaking porn star and then I had to tell them I was a YouTuber.
They did, and you secretly
okay?
were a porn star. That's coming up later.
No, it is. I really. So we ended up renting an apartment directly underneath another apartment and just using it to film gaming videos in.
It was still in the same apartment complex, so we just called it the apartment.
The apartment.
I mean, who needs
knocked
the
a hole
plan?
through the floor, stripper pole.
Yeah.
No lie.
Well, fireman's pole, not stripper pole.
Stripper pole. Slam that cooter down a story onto the floor.
Stripping fireman.
Exactly.
Maybe. People didn't need to know. You don't need to know everything. And it was still an apartment, and that's where we were filming things.
They did not live in that house. They lived in the one above. We move on. We move on from the lies. October 2022. A video called Dan is Leaving Me is posted to Amazing Phil. This video is filmed in a closet.
Love it.
This was filmed as Dan was leaving Phil for his We're All Doomed in America and Australia, right? They talk in this video about how this is the longest time they have ever been apart since they met each other in 2009.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm here to make an emotional video and cry on camera for 5 minutes.
5?
10. Oh yeah, because then I get the ad.
50? Come on.
55 minutes. How long was yours? 1 hour and 37 minutes.
How dare you compare me to people that make videos?
Sorry.
Once more with feeling like, ham up there. You're sad. You're sad. You're sad.
Guys, I've got some terrible news. I can't do it.
You are the worst actor in the show.
I can't do it.
Since 2009, I think the longest we have ever been apart is actually 2.5 weeks when you went to Florida.
No.
So
is that it?
This is about to be dramatic because, guys, I am about to go on a bus to go on tour to America, and I am gone for 2.5 months.
That's a lot of months.
It's literally not a lot of months.
No.
If you're talking months plural, it's 2.
It's 2,
so
okay,
it's technically the least amount of months.
It's a lot of seconds.
It's several seconds.
Yeah.
This is a truly cataclysmic moment
It
in our
is.
lives, Phil. What's going to happen?
I don't know. I'm going to get a tattoo on my face. Well, I'm going to have a rejuvenation, and
Are
you'll
you
come
saying
back.
that you're going to get Botox?
No,
I'm gonna come
no.
Back and Phil's going to have lip fillers.
I'm going to have a tattoo. I'm going to be blonde.
My vision is like doing like front flips.
I'm doing backflips right now. That was October. Another very key video to watch if you're trying to get an overall feel of what the Dan and Phil eras were at the time.
If you're like a researcher, just like studying this stuff.
November.
Sister Daniel.
Go away, Dan.
You want to ride?
Please, 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 please. Oh my god.
Let me not speak.
Just know that Sister Daniel dropped out of nowhere, and we all went, oh fuck! None of the words that we tweeted were said in the Bible.
No.
No. Then in December, Dan comes back in the country after his really successful We're All Doomed tour. What does that mean? What Dan and Phil text each other? 3!
Yes. And these are texts that have obviously been like across the pond, across this whole tour.
Oh my god, they have their own language with one another.
This is what Dan and Phil text each other. Mott.
Go on. 4.
The ending of 2022 was a thing to live in. Things kind of like dropped back and forth between 2023. There was like some videos from Dan, there was a few interactions on the timeline until July. Oh, by the way, 2023, the year of being so back.
So back.
July. Phil posts a video where he is coerced even, into eating cheese by Dan Howell.
This is the most mid of the road of the cheese spectrum, of the pleasure drome. It is medium cheddar.
Dan Howell is an evil creature and should be locked up.
How can you just not like cheese that much?
Yeah, Phil simply just really hates cheese. That's a very important key fact. Otherwise, this video's like, what the fuck? They're just feeding each other. October. Phil tweets, we're in need of a new editor. This raises suspicions. Why? When Phil has obviously been managing his own channel by himself, and Dan doesn't really need an editor for the amount he's uploading, why are they asking for an editor? No one went, oh, you know what it is? Dan and Phil Games.
Head in hands. Head in hands.
Later in October, a memorial leaflet was posted to both of their accounts simultaneously. Literally like a memorial funeral leaflet, right? Everyone goes, no, you can't be fucking serious. This kickstarts a little bit of a resurgence. And we're like, what's actually going to happen? We await this day that is detailed so succinctly on this invitation. Dan and Phil Games uploaded. It has been since the end of 2018. They're attending a memorial service. Who's the priest? I hear you ask.
So this is it. We're finally calling it.
No more hiatus. Just dead.
Jacksepticeye!
What the fuck?
No.
The morning to your laddies is Jacksepticeye.
They are in a church, and Jacksepticeye is a priest, and they are doing a memorial service.
Oh, yeah.
For the Dan and Phil Games channel.
Yeah.
In this church, who walks through the door?
Enchelte Zombo.
What the fuck?
We have not had a single fucking inkling that this was even in the realm of a possibility, let alone going to happen out of the blue.
Being fed so good.
Is an entire Dan and Phil rebrand. Phil can say fuck. They are gay on main. This entire time, since like Dan's first hiatus, has been mentioning very small individual moments and random video uploads. This was not that. This was an entire new era that was them being Dan and Phil outwardly together consistently.
Yeah, till today, like to this day.
And I know it's like, oh, Dan and Phil Games. This is not just a gaming channel.
No.
Anymore.
They could really change the username, but they don't have to.
This is a joint channel. Dill Halter comes back. Season 2 of their Sims playthrough that ended in 2018 begins again. We get a Sims series again. And we're like, you know what? This simply couldn't get any better. They couldn't do anything else. They bring back Spooky Week. We had daily Dan and Phil uploads of scary games. We thought that was enough. A video was uploaded called Halloween Baking. First time since 2017. We have a Dan and Phil baking video. And guess what, everybody? They're in costume.
Oh my god.
Introducing Dan's alter ego. It's Sister Daniel.
Hello, boys. You mean some naughty bakers?
Oh my god.
Let's get that bread.
Oh my god, I can't handle it. See, I only saw Sister Daniel in pictures, so I can't do it. No.
Fuck off.
I would do anything to show 0.3 seconds of that video to 2012 Dan Howell. They go, oh, you know what we should do? A calendar.
Another one.
And you know what this calendar should involve? Dan and Phil and cats.
This is the best day ever.
Can you believe this is our job, right?
Can I just freeze this moment?
One of these photos was Dan in a pink suit, Phil in a green suit, doing a prom pose with a cat.
Phil, unveil your softness.
I'm feeling soft.
Oh my god.
See,
That is an object right there.
This was just an excuse to get Dan in pink as much as possible.
Better be worth it for people, okay? Just made that the new profile picture with no context.
I'm gonna scratch my face skin off.
The December, it's Dan and Phil in matching pajamas with a cat in the middle in front of a fireplace. Might tear my hair out.
They had no reason to be doing all that.
If that wasn't enough for November, there's a video on Dan and Phil Games where Dan and Phil react to fan Roblox worlds.
Oh god.
In one of these, it's like a memory lane timeline. Would have been great to fucking have here. It shows them Phil is not on fire. 1. Dan and Phil see themselves made out of Roblox characters tackling one another after this is the most fun they've ever had. And the commentary is...
Oh, Phil is not on fire.
God.
The original
this was the
video.
most fun I've ever had. Wow.
Wow.
What are they doing, honey? They're wrestling. They're wrestling.
Just wrestling. They think this shit a fucking game.
December, it's not over. December 2023. If all of that wasn't enough, Dan versus Phil comes back.
Fucked up.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, Dan and Phil are back. Dill is back. Spooky Week is back. Baking is back. We've had a pin-off mention in 2023. What else is going to happen? Oh, you know what they're going to do? They're going to upload a video of them reacting just to the Phil is not on fires.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What
What
do you mean?
They are laughing and joking about having so much chemistry on day one and being like, haha, can't two bros just tackle each other?
No.
I'm insane. I'm insane. I'm insane. I can't succinctly list all of the insane shit and moments. Before it was easy, I could mention this random part in a You Now from 2012. The entire month of October, November, December, there's so much that happened and was said that is so insane by Dan and Phil standards that I can't talk about it because there's just too much. God help me. We're on 2024.
Basically, the present now.
Near enough. This is the last couple of months. In January, Phil did a birthday live stream where he raised $83,000 for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund.
Big up.
Crazy, and Phil Lester, I adore you every day.
This is the most Dan and Phil. Love game, Lady Gaga boys. Let's have some fun. I've got no coat.
I want to take a ride on the Lapras boat.
Perfect.
You need to understand, me and Phil used to play a karaoke game called Lips.
Yes.
And Love Game Lady Gaga was the most played song we did. So that song is one of our most played songs of all time.
It is.
For some fucking reason.
Do you know, I think I'm in the top 20 people that have ever sang the song of that
And
game.
this tweet comes out of the ether. Do you ever feel like something is so niche and it was just made for you?
It was made for us.
That was for us. You want to know who Dan and Phil are? That tweet.
February. Dan and Phil Games came back, cool, we know this. Off the back of Dan and Phil Games. Dan and Phil Beats, a lo-fi album.
Oh god, it's on Spotify right now.
Multiple songs with insane titles. The one that's coming off the top of my head is one called This Hit's Different. My head's in my hands right now. You can't see. My head is in my hands. I haven't even mentioned Legalized Catboys yet.
Don't need to.
April. Guess what happens in April, everybody?
The most important part.
Dan and Phil Crafts.
Hello, crafties, and welcome back to YouTube's most popular art channel, Dan and Phil Crafts.
We've been away for a long while.
Don't cry. Craft.
I loved it.
This was like looking at your 13-year-old self and covering them in concrete. And then they released merch that said pro tip on the back, and I brought it. I'm 21 years old, and I have Dan and Phil Crafts merch that I brought with my own money, like 13-year-old me would have killed for. We're now in June. This was 3 months ago. 2 months ago. Dan's birthday live stream. They both did a charity live stream. They also raised quite a lot of money. This live stream specifically had Sister Daniel make a comeback. And Phil as a priest. This was like Fleabag, but for even more mentally ill gay people than Fleabag already is.
I'm not even sure I saw this one.
There had been a buzz going around on fandom Twitter, which was now so well and truly back, I can't even fathom. There'd been a few little things going round, a few leaked Ticketmaster pages that potentially suggested Dan and Phil were going on another tour. Everyone was like, no, we've got Dan and Phil Games back. They wouldn't do another tour, would they?
And then it's me just like preparing my money, getting my ducks in a row.
Turns out, on June the 28th, a tour was announced. A third Dan and Phil tour in the good year of 2024. Hello, Editing Kira here again. Just want to say, this is completely spoiler free. This was filmed way before the tour actually started. We had no idea what was going to unfold in this video, so everything that's mentioned will just be like stuff you'd know from like trailers and clips and stuff that Dan and Phil themselves have posted.
Daddy, mommy, unmake me!
Save me from this hell of living! They were doing balmy shit. Never was this meant to happen. Like a worldwide tour again that states that they're gonna take back what the internet took from them. And in the description states that they're gayer than ever. What do you mean?
Go.
So naturally, we needed tickets. Silver VIP. Thank you, Max. Oh, hey.
Wow.
Phil goes blonde. Phil's blonde now. How did I? He's blonde. At some point in May, he's blonde. We're in July, and you're like, okay, June gave us a tour. What can happen in July? Massive pizza mukbang 2.
Again.
We get Phil opening up a little bit and being like, I felt lost in the years where Dan wasn't uploading, because I was like, what is going on? What is me without Dan and Phil? And then in the video, there's the ranch metaphor. Dan Howell gets proper into condiments again and discusses the creation of ranch. To do this, rather than saying it's a great delicious dipping sauce, he says,
oh my god.
You're having a moment again.
Let me tell you, Phil.
What?
I don't know what the fuck ranch is, but it was sent here from God. Okay? You know how it's like we were put two little boys from Reading and Rotten Stall?
Yes.
And then we met via the internet. And
Why
we
you
created this thing called Dan and Phil. The ingredients of ranch were put in this universe by God.
Sure.
For the singular purpose of coming together to become ranch.
So we are a ranch metaphor.
Hell yeah.
what do you mean? You're talking about ranch.
It made perfect sense.
Glorified mayonnaise.
It made perfect sense to me.
It made perfect sense. But they were like talking about the fact that they had no idea this was bound to happen, and they had no idea if that tour that they wanted to do could ever actually happen with the response that they were going to get. And then all of a sudden, all of these people come back to them, like coaxed back to them like a fucking Minecraft pig and a carrot. Like, later on Danifil Games, they actually play a game, and they give Dill a makeover so bad they have to upload a formal apology. They upload this apology video, they try and fix Dill. They did not fix him.
No.
These gay men cannot dress a man.
No.
Which is so funny, because the next really important video after that is Dan and Phil dress each other. Both done videos on their channels being like, viewers dress Dan, viewers dress Phil, blah blah blah. They upload Dan and Phil dress each other, where they specifically pick like one another's style to put on the other person.
Pass around the bottom party in Miami, what a fuck off. Go.
There's been like a Heart Eyes Hal thing throughout this entire history. Never in my life have I seen that boy more enamoured than in that video.
Hi, my name is Dan.
god!
I think this is.
Oh my
Okay,
god!
alright.
This looks so good!
Fuck off.
In August, like early August, they uploaded a video where they had matching t-shirts that said Precious Baby Angel on them. Dan's was in black and Phil's was in white.
I'm like, why couldn't we have had this when I was...
Genuinely, I can't imagine being 13 now and gay and watching this Dan and Phil.
Yeah.
The day we're recording this video, we got Dan and Phil playing date night. What the hell? Dan drew a card that meant he had to be honest if he'd ever stalked Phil on social media before knowing him.
Keep this card if you stalked your partner on social media before you...
How to befriend your favourite internet stars.
Shut the fuck up!
That's
Did
so
I
funny.
just pull this from the top of the thing?
Let's be honest.
And this is today. What is in store? This is 5,000 words of notes here. Anyway.
Fucking stay tuned for the vlog that we'll make
Oh,
at the tour.
This has brought us up to now.
Hello.
They live together, happily, in their home that they own and have designed. We have the gaming channel back. The fandom has had the biggest resurgence I have ever seen. They've climbed AO3 tags. They're trending on Twitter. They're climbing the Tumblr monthly tag usages. What is going on? We're so back, everyone. I don't think anyone can fathom 2009 to now. 3 world tours, Dan's solo tour, multiple books, a gaming channel that's researched and changed their life twice. We would have never been friends if they didn't upload. What's going on? Important characters may have missed. I can't be bothered to fit them in and actually find where they exist. These are just things that came to the top of our head. Colin the dog. Kanye? Crazy. Delia Smith. We briefly mentioned Delia.
Love you.
Phil Stryker. And the Susans. Not Flame Susan, but Susan 1 and Susan 2.
But Flame Season 2.
Flame Susan as well. Yeah, you're so right. Damn.
And you tries to make you feel bad for enjoying Dan and Phil. Like, oh, what do they actually do? What do they... You don't get it. You don't get it.
In the good year of 2024, you are watching Dan and Phil, enjoying it, and there are people being like, how? They're missing out. I still can't go over the fact that if they never uploaded, we wouldn't have been friends. Like, I've got a tattoo memorializing our friendship. The fuck is that?
Every time I sit at my desk and I look up and I see that moth, I'm like, damn, I need to fix up.